Connection Japanese Film Festival Frankfurt am Main.
Hello and welcome to the 21st edition of Nippon Connection, the Japanese Film Festival. My name is Sebastian Krehl. I'm a member of the film selection team of the festival, and it's my great pleasure to welcome today Anshul CHAUHAN, the director of KONTORA. Welcome. You need to unmute yourself.
I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you so much for this for Q&A session. I'm looking forward to the questions from you and the audience if they have any.
So we'll just quickly explain how this works. First, I will ask Anshul a few questions, and then you, who have hopefully already seen the film, can chime in as well via the Q&A function. Just send your questions, and I will relegate them to Anshul later. The whole event will be held in English, so I will ask my questions in English, and there will be no translation to Japanese or German. Yeah, let's dig right in. My first question is of a more general nature, because you've been working now for a long time in animation, for around 15 years, I think, and you've worked on very famous properties like Gantz or Final Fantasy or Tron Uprising. Was feature filmmaking, was that something that you always wanted to do, or was that something that just developed along the way for you?
Yeah, I think it developed along the way because I've been working for a long time in animation, and I was getting a bit frustrated because when I started as an animator, I was like, oh, this is so interesting, and that was my whole dream. I said, okay, I made it, and I'm working with cool projects, and many people were. Then slowly started to become like a labor, like a full day work till late night. Especially when I moved to Japan, it was too much work, and then I realized I'm not enjoying it anymore, and then I suddenly had this hunger to tell my own stories. And then I realized if I have to make the stories in animation is very, very costly. It takes a long time, and I need a big team, so it's not possible. So that's when I decided, okay, maybe I should try live action. And then I just started shooting some stuff around, and then I fell in love with the camera and shooting, and that's how I started making films.
So you are self-taught in that regard?
Yeah, I'm still learning. I mean, I'm very new in filmmaking. Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, now to KONTORA, which deals with very heavy topics like Japanese wartime past. What did draw you to this material? Is there something in your own biography that maybe relates to the story of the young teenager in the film?
Yeah, I mean, it's coming from my family stories, and I mean, there are many things. Actually, when I decided to make this film, I thought maybe nobody will watch this film or something. I got some little money from someone, and they said, okay, do whatever you want to make. I said, okay. So, and I thought, okay, I'll do something black and white, and I will dedicate something to, my grandfather and the student soldiers, because I studied in military academy for like almost 9 years, since I was almost like from age of 9 to 17 years old. I studied military academy, so I am very close to the subject of student soldiers and all. And then the central story of the film, which is like, the box they find and all that comes from my that's a real story based on my grandfather when he came back from Indochina War in '62. And so yeah, I wanted to connect this field of military and art, and also that's why I started writing something like that.
And a very important presence in the film is Hidemasa Mase in two senses, because first he plays the backwards man, the mysterious figure who appears and only walks backwards, but he's also responsible for the drawings in the notebook, in the diary. Can you tell us a little bit more about him, how you met, how you found him for your project?
Yes, so before I made KONTORA, I actually wrote another film which I couldn't make because it was a big budget and all, and the producer ran away because he read the script and he said, no, this is anti-government. That film also dealt with student life in Yokosuka naval base, based on real story and all, but it was a bit dark, so I think he just didn't want to make it. So at that time I met Mase. I did audition for that film, but that film didn't happen. Same with the Van Maru also. I met both of them there. And then when I was writing Kontora, it was supposed to be a bit more romantic film in the starting. And then Mase told me, I also do sketching. I was like, okay. So he sent me some. I was like, okay, this is really good. And I used to sketch before as an animator. I started as a 2D animator before. Then I moved to 3D. So I'm very close to the art field also. So when he told me his sketches and all, everything changed. In my mind, and I completely dropped the idea of making this romantic thing which I was about to make. It was still about a backward walking man, but then everything changed, and I told him, I will cast you only if you make the diary, if you sketch the diary. So he said, okay, well, of course. So he started coming to my home like every weekend after his work, and we will both sit and I will tell him, okay, here you should write this, here you should make that. So whole diary is based on real photographs and real letters from the soldiers. Yeah, so that's how he also prepared his character while making the diary, and I ended up talking with him a lot about the subject and everything.
And I also noticed that that he and also Taiichi Yamada, who plays the father of the protagonist, that they are both theater actors originally. Was this something conscious on your part that you wanted theater actors, or is this a coincidence?
It's not a coincidence, and it's also not like I wanted theater actors. It's like I had no choice. I wanted to make movie. I had no budget, and I am kind of outsider here, so I don't know how to fund my films with Japanese producers and all. So luckily, I got like really less amount of money from my animation CEO. Actually, while we were drinking and all, he said, "Okay, I'll give you some money. Make whatever you want." I said, "Okay." So Yamada-san, Taichi Yamada, we shot the film in his hometown. So I told he wanted to work with me. So I actually don't have problem working with anyone as long as you dedicate yourself. So I'm more than happy. He said, okay, I will bring you to my village and I will show you around. I said, okay. So he drove his car from Tokyo to Gifu and his small village like Sakushi in Gifu. So we went there and he showed me around and let me meet his family friends and the factory, the river. And I took many pictures and I came back. And I thought, okay, I think I asked him if I can shoot anything here. He said, yeah, anywhere you want to shoot, you can shoot. I said, okay, then I will write the film and I'll cast you also as a father. So that's how it happened. And then his friend, Shimizu-san, they both were in my first film also, very small role. Yeah, that's how we got together. And anyway, in general, I like theater actors. I like actors who are loud because theater actors are a bit loud, because they have to express to the live audience. So I like them because it's much easier to cut down than to tell them go more. So I find it easier to work with theater actors.
And the film, although it runs 2.5 hours and is very dense and in themes and very impressive, you shot it in only 10 days.
Yeah, I mean the actual script of the film was actually 65 pages, which is I was thinking, okay, this will be the film which I can make it a bit faster and like 90 minutes and this and that. But whenever I'm shooting the film, I always kind of throw away my scripts and I come like many things changes and I keep shooting and scene become longer. And I was working with a documentary cinematographer and he's very comfortable shooting in this kind of style. So for example, if actors start improvising, suddenly something changes, he can follow easily. So that's how it ended up becoming long. I mean, the main reason of becoming it long because we couldn't shoot more. So technically, if you shoot more coverage, you can make a small, like a shorter film. If you have a few angles, this, that. But the style we went for was single take, long takes. So I cannot cut it. There's no option to cut from any angle. So that's why it became long. And as I said before, I thought nobody's gonna watch this film. I'm just making it for myself. So okay, and this is my only chance to make a long black and white film. Maybe in future, when my career grows, I might not be able to do it. So I said, okay, let me make whatever I want to make. So
And you have your own production company, I was just wondering, because you are not Japanese, but you deal with very specific Japanese topics, and I know that the Japanese film industry is very close knit. So is this something? Do you have a lot of problems getting your projects done and out into the world in Japan? How is the general reaction of the public to your work?
I mean, the production company I have is like just a name. It's not actual company. It's not like I have a studio or something. It's just a name quote on a film which I use for my film, because I want to use some kind of name, and I don't want to name like Anshul CHAUHAN Films or something like that. So yeah, me and my wife, we both work together to make films. She helps producing and translation and all that stuff. And yeah, I made 2 feature films and successfully released them also in Japan. And so far, I will not say that I'm a part of Japanese industry or something. I don't think so. I don't even know that if I'm part of industry. But I realized one thing, that is, it's kind of easier to release films here. So for example, not in the big cinemas. For example, you have to be really successful. Because they have many indie like art theaters here, like maybe about 35, 40, I guess, which is spread over the Japan. So if you have a good distributor, he might be able to secure at least 30, 35 theaters or something like that. And then if you do really good in those theaters, you can step out. Like for example, Toho can jump in, and in Toho, Sochiku, or Eon Cinema, they can jump in and take your film. Like something which happened with the one take zombie film, or yeah, some films like that. So yeah, so I worked with the distributors for my first film, Uzumasa, and this time also some distributors to get the film release. And yeah, and also because we were very successful in festivals, especially for Kontora, my second film, which was a bit surprising because we did a lot of festivals and awards, and also it was much easier to get a release. And response is also good actually this time, and it's still running in Japan. I don't know when we're gonna finish.
For both your feature films and I also think one of your short films, you work with the same cinematographer, Max Kolomidov.
Not the short film, only 2 feature films.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I was wrong then. Okay, yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about him and how you started to collaborate, and maybe also a bit about your choice to shoot Kontora in black and white, because it's very, very stark and a very, very impressive photography. So what was your thinking behind that?
Yeah, I met Max in 2016 around December, when I was doing a small screening of my short film, my first short film, which it's called Soap Second. So he came to the screening, and outside the room or hall, whatever you want to call it. Maybe it was a cafe. So he met me and he said, "Hey, I'm a cinematographer and all, and if you want to work together, let me know." I said, "Okay." And then after 2 months, I got his message again. So we already reached in 2017 January. He messaged me, "Hey, I just bought a red camera," and he sent me some of his work, which he shot in Estonia. So which is really good work, which is all documentaries and maybe one fiction short film. So I said, "Yeah, why not? Let's work together." So I just met him and talked with him, and then I said, "Okay, I'm writing something. If you want to join the project." He said, "Okay." But that was it. So yeah, I worked with him on the first film, and I realized he's very good in sensing the body movement of the actors, and he's very good like that to sense the emotion. If they are doing something, he can capture that easily. So it was very like a free. I felt very free to work with him because we don't use much lighting. Like for example, in Kontora, not a single light we used actually. Only once we used lights towards the end when he goes back to sit on the couch. There's his face is lit. So that's the only place we actually use the light. Everything was shot naturally, and that's why it looks dark sometimes. For example, in the forest. When she went to, it's actually afternoon, but it's so dark because it's such a dense forest, and we didn't have access to big budget and lights and all, and we were always in a rush. So it was only him and his assistant and me, and the sound guy. That was the team. Four guys and few other guys helping, like driving, and like Yamada-san was driving himself and us. So yeah, this is how we made both the films actually. And sorry, a second part, black and white. It was like purposely. I mean, Max is more into, like, like European style of cinema and all. And I also like Belata. He suggested me something. Okay, if you have this kind of story, maybe we should do black and white. I said, yeah. Anyway, I want to do this film, especially I want to do black and white, because I was dedicating it to my grandfather, and that generation. I wanted it to be like period authentic, and I was doing a lot of research with the photographs, and I watched many documentaries on World War. Everything was in like mostly black and white, so my whole influence was that. So even while the shooting the film in my monitor, I didn't see any color, because it's very easy to get confused. And so I thought, okay, let's do black and white. And that was the only reason, because the subject was dealing with the Second World War. Yeah.
Okay, but I have to say that you didn't use, or that you only use natural light. That just blew my mind a little, because the film looks so good, and it's so great atmosphere all throughout. So that you only use natural light is very impressive.
Yeah. I mean, that's how we selected the location and the exact place where to shoot, because if you notice, there's always a big window in the carpenter shop, the grandfather sits, or the dinner table, and in the dinner table there's a simple dinner light, and we don't need anything extra. So yeah, we're very basic, like we're very basic, like like nothing crazy, no lights, nothing.
Okay, I've already got a question through the Q&A function. I just want to say to everyone, you can already send your questions. They will be collected, so don't be shy. So this person writes, a lot of what you are doing. My question is that before your first feature film, did you have any writing experience?
No, I didn't have any writing experience. I just wrote like short film, which I mean, to be honest, I don't think I'm a good writer. I just write very visually. Like I write only what I want to shoot. I cannot write anything very deep and philosophical. And anyway, whatever I write, everything changes while we are shooting. I just write for my DP, me, and that, so that I can understand the structure of the story. And actors also, they read it once they read it, and after that I tell them to no need to read this. Okay, just understand the scene and let's jump into it. Yeah, but yeah, I know how to like structure the story and all those things. Yeah, I keep in mind technical part of it.
Okay. So yeah, like I said, don't be shy sending your questions. So is this right now the way you're working? I think you released both your features in a span of 2 years. Do you plan to continue releasing features at such a rate? But you also still continue working in animation, I think.
No, I actually fully stopped doing animation last year. Actually, just before pandemic started, I stopped working as an animator, because I wanted to focus on writing my third feature film, which actually got cancelled this year, January. I spent last whole year writing and planning the film, and getting the budget together, team together, casting, and this one was a bit bigger budget than I usually shoot in. But still I couldn't make it happen due to the COVID and other problems. So I don't know. I might have to go back to animation, or maybe not. But yeah, I will keep making films one way or other. I will just try my best to make.
Just saw that someone raised their hand, but I don't know what that means. Sorry. Maybe it was a mistake. I don't know. So have you any? Sorry about that. Have you any specific plans for your next project?
Actually, I just finished a short film. Actually, today only I finished the short, just before And that's why I got a bit late for this session, because I was working with a colorist remotely in Singapore. So we just finished a short film, which we will release online, I think, because I'm not planning to do the festival, because it takes time, to get response and all. And the film is about the present situation like COVID and all. So we'll just drop it on YouTube or Vimeo within few days, I think. And then I'm planning to write a feature film, which I can shoot this year on a very small budget. But I do have 2 books, rights of 2 books, which I will make. I'm looking for producers for those books, which I want to shoot next year or maybe around next year. Yeah, I mean, I want to package them properly, the books. I just got the rights of those books.
Okay, yeah, let us know when your short film is finished, so we can maybe promote it too.
Thank you.
I have another question from the audience. Fantastic film all around. I already recommended it to some friends of mine. My question, how or where did you discover Wan Marui? She was fantastic and I want to see more of her.
Yeah, Wan Marui is really good. Actually, in 2017, I think I just finished my first film post-production or something, and I got some, because I was very new in Tokyo, in the filmmaking community, I mean. So, but once I finished my film, I got a bit of attention. So some actors reached out to me, let's meet and let's drink. I said, okay. So I went, that was the day I met many, like 4 or 5 actors for the first time. And the same day, one of the actors, he used to teach English to Eiji Uchida-san. Everybody knows him, I think. In the Midnight Sun and other films, Love and Other Cults. So he said, oh, you know what, I teach English to Uchida-san. Do you meet him? I said, yeah, why not? So he called Eiji Uchida-san. So Eiji Uchida-san was making, I think, Love and Other Cults at that time, or maybe just finished. So, and with him came Wan Marui, and she was 18 years old, I think, 18 or 19 years old. I remember she had like bob cut and she looked like a kid. I was like, who is she? She's, oh, she's actress. She's from Osaka. She just came to Tokyo. I said, okay, okay. So I remember like her face was very strong. So I mean, it left kind of, the image, strong image on my head. And then she left. And after 2 years, in 2018, when I was writing the film, which I couldn't make, in Yokosuka base, army base, that time I approached her, do you want to audition for this role of a young daughter and all? He said, yeah, why not? So she came, she auditioned. And I honestly told her that, okay, I didn't like it very much, blah, blah. I was very honest with her, but I still want to work with you somehow. She said, okay. And by that time, she did like a small roles, like extras or something like that. But just after 1 month, I was started writing KONTORA and researching. And somehow her face was so strong in my head that I could not forget that. And then I decided to meet her. So when I met her, she told me that I told her I'm working on this kind of subject with military and all that. So she told me that her grandfather was a part of Second World War. He was posted as a radio operator in Manchuria in China. And she told me some stories and all, how he came back and he forgot his name and all that. I mean, she told me a lot. Same thing with Mase also. His grandfather also came back from war and he got diagnosed with some mental illness and all those things. So that's why I thought these 2 guys are just perfect for the film. And then I told her, you cannot back out. You have to be like really go like crazy in this film and we have to just explore everything. So this was her first lead role in her career. And now she's doing good. I mean, she had many TV series, many films coming out.
I have one question that was already answered. I assume the person was maybe late to the talk because the question is, when is the film release of KONTORA in Japan? And you already said that it was already released. Do you have any more to say to that?
It was released on 18th March in Japan, starting from Tokyo. And last week we finished the screenings in Tokyo, but still running in other cities. But we just booked more theaters. I mean, other theaters reached out to us to release again in Tokyo. So it's going to open again in mid-June. So I have a schedule until I think July end so far. So we are running until July end in all the cities.
Okay. Next question is, in future, will you work with a new writer who wants to work with you, or if you like his or her script, will you work with them? And where can someone pitch you a script?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm always looking for the script. I just put it out there. Please send stories and pitches or anything. I'm always. I mean, you can find my email address on uh, my website, or you can, if you know, I'm in my Instagram. I have my MD handle, so if you go there, you can find all the information. You can send. I read a lot of scripts, but I can't promise that I can produce them because of the budget. So I mostly look for scripts which are in a smaller budget or like set in small location. This, so which I can easily produce the way I do. Yeah, if somebody write like like superhero movie and also I can do that.
Okay, the next question is about the story of the film. Can you explain why at the end the backwards walking man dissolved?
That will like, I don't know. For me, the main thing, I mean, that's the most important thing. I mean, he disappeared kind of because for me, he represented the grandfather himself. He's the one who comes back to the life, and try to reconnect with the family and wanted to see whatever he, hide inside the ground and all to resolve the issues and all. So he was grandfather. So for me, he was kind of a spirit, or you can call it, call anything you want, ghost or whatever. I mean, I don't believe in all that, but in cinema, it's this kind of things are always represented at white light floating around, or I don't know. There are many ways to show that. So this was my interpretation. So I just wanted to make this story that if somebody is coming from another world, or it could be anything. I'm not saying heaven or hell, but it's just the idea of somebody coming back to life and solving. That's why there is sometimes he sings songs, which is no language. It's not a Japanese. I asked Masi to make up anything he wants, and he made that thing up. It should feel like it's some other world, coming from some other world kind of image. And things he does like throughout the film is it's like that. And but I left many small hints from the starting till the end, but I never made it obvious that who he might be. But I felt it was very obvious that towards the end who he might be. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was very effective because most of the times, maybe all of the, I'm not sure, but most of the times when the protagonist reads from the diary, you hear this off voice, and this is contrasted with the backwards walking man. So it was very clear from the beginning that there's some sort of connection between the name stories and him. I thought that was very evocative without telling it explicitly. It was very effectively solved.
Whenever he sees the diary or diary is open, he starts kind of crying, whenever he sees his own clothes or something like that. And finally when they open the box and takes the rifle out, and he starts walking around. And actually, by the way, if you guys don't know, this character is influenced by one of the video I watched on YouTube. There's a guy who lives in Derby. He walks backward. I saw that video like long back, maybe 5-6 years back, maybe even before I started making movie. And I started approaching people like who shot the video, like why he's walking backward. I was so curious. They said because he was a doctor before and he lost his family in a car accident, and after that something happened to him like mentally, and he was not able to walk forward, because he don't want to see the future or something like that. And so he keep writing notes, card numbers on it. You can still find the video actually. If you type backward walking man in Derby, you will find his videos. So that's what my influence was for Masse. And that's what my first initial story was supposed to be, which I completely changed in the end.
I have a question regarding the title. I don't know, maybe this is banal, but the word, I mean, Kontora is a Japanese transcription of the word contra. If I understand it correctly. But why did you decide to give the English retranscription of the Japanese transcription as the title and not just the word contra? Is there some?
I mean, because there is already a one game, which exists. It was supposed to be 90s. I used to play that game also, like Contra, the guy with the red band and a rifle. So I thought, I don't know, what if somebody reached out to me and say, well, you stole the name or something like that. So I just felt like, okay, I will just write Contra.
Okay.
Yeah, that's but I dedicated one scene like to that game, just for fun, and not for fun, but I felt like, so, the scene when he hits himself, comes back, he puts the band and the red mark. So that was the influence having to to dedicate to the game, this band thing and all kind of image.
Okay. Are there any more questions from the audience? Now would be the time to post them. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I would just say thank you for taking your time. Thank you. There's one question. Okay, they ask, what kind of film do you like the most? Very general question.
Yeah, it's I don't know, I like, before I was very particular, like, I don't know, I just want to watch this kind of cinema, but now I watch everything. But I mainly got influenced by Iranian films and Korean films. I like Majid Majidi, films from Majid Majidi, and then Korean films I like the most, and also European films like Belatar, director Belatar. I watch his films a lot also. And I mean, it depends. Now I think my taste is changing. For example, in West, I used to watch Larry Clark, Harmony Korine, and now Larry Clark, who made Kids and Bully and Marfa Girls, and Harmony Korine, who made Gummo. And Gummo was a big impact on me. When I watched Gummo, actually I watched Gummo and Sunji Wai-san's Lili Shushu in the same day, and I was like blown away. And next day I quit my job to make a movie. It was that much impact, which was a big mistake if I think about it. But yeah, in Japan I used to before filmmakers, in contemporary filmmakers now, that Sunji Wai-san's movies I like. But in recent times in Japan, it's hard to, I don't know what kind of stories are coming out. I'm not very interested that much. But yeah, Koreda-san and his films I like. Yeah, lately I think from West I really like Noah Baumbach. His writing I'm a big fan of. And that's all.
There's a follow-up question from the same person. Do you like Wong Kar-wai films?
Oh yeah, Wong Kar-wai films are super stylistic and hard to make that kind of film, even to think about. Yeah.
Okay, are there any more questions? Okay, then once again, thank you very much for being here, and thank you for the wonderful film. If for some reason anyone who is now in the Q&A hasn't seen it already, go do so, please. You can find it on watch.nipponconnection.com, and of course lots of other films that are also quite wonderful. Is there anything you would like to say
I just want to thank you and for this, and for the thanks to the Nippon Connection for screening the film online this year. I really wanted to bring my first film also, Nippon Connection, but it couldn't happen. But I'm really happy that finally people, my friends in Germany can watch it. They're asking for a long time, and yeah, and thanks to all the audience who are right now asking questions and all. And I mean, if anyone have any questions or something, you can you can just reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. It's just easy to connect.
Okay, so yeah, thank you once again, and I'm very much looking forward to what you will be doing in the future.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, and thanks everyone for joining us today. Goodbye.